Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our world. It is a beautiful place, it is, and we all marvel at its existence. But there are those who are living in fear of the unknown right now, and that fear has gripped them so tight they are suffocated by it, choking on terror. So some of those people want to know the truth, but they do not know where to look. So what do? They look for answers in the wrong places, and they become obsessed. They become infatuated with ideologies. Oh, this is going to be special, because I want to give you something, an overview of some of the things I have been discussing over the past year. Because mankind has once again transformed. They have become more machine than human, caught in a constant battle with themselves and nature. Continuing to fight over food and land, deceived they are, under the laws of gods and monsters.
One of the great ways that we are limited in our understanding of what we're dealing with is that we have our sense of possibility suppressed by being told constantly what is and is not possible.
There is corruption in every area
If you
of
can
government.
get people to believe the limits of possibility or the limits of technological possibility that we see in our everyday
Drugs,
life
non-prescription
or the public
drugs
arena,
are
then
causing
you really
illness and disease. Vaccines are causing neurological damage, illness and
They're
disease.
behind the elimination, sterilization worldwide.
to understand what's happening in the world, whether it's anything from banking scams to manipulated laws to why they want
This type of
certain stuff
activity happens all the time
why they
in
want
the United States government and governments all around the world.
Human race, get off your knees.
Many of you looked into the sky and saw these coming up right here. A lot of darkness, but there was lights up there 16 years ago. And today they're still, there they are. Lots of questions about what were these things and where did these come from?
And as you've reported, it is so hot there that planes are actually unable to fly. Explain that to us. What more can you tell us?
3.5 million degree plasma erupting from the surface of the sun. This part that's missing, the reason it's dark, is that whole chunk of the sun basically ripped off, blew out, and is coming our way at about 2 million miles an hour.
You know, people come to me all the time asking, what about flat Earth? Well, what about it? Do you know what I think? Do you really want to know what I think? How many of you remember, or how many of you have seen that old sci-fi television classic known as The Twilight Zone? There was an episode called The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street. How many of you remember that episode? You see, the rational, neighborly people of Maple Street had experienced a blackout, and in confusion and fear they gathered in the street to discuss possible explanations for the event due to the fact that something like a meteor was seen flying overhead prior to the blackout. But not only did they lose power, they lost the use of their electronics and vehicles as well. And it was the idea of a young boy with a comic book that would have everyone looking at each other sideways, as if they were monsters from outer space. Well, it wasn't long till they were at each other's throats, only to tear the neighborhood and themselves into pieces. The point is, folks, that is what this shape of the earth topic is doing. Oh, I know the movement is growing, and more people are starting to question many things, but it is causing men to turn against each other. It is putting brother against brother. And this obsession on both sides will only end in violence. And see, that's the problem. When I say that, people think it's a joke. No, because people are not willing to just put it to bed. I made a video about giant ancient tree stumps based on the theories of a Russian author. It has the highest view count of all my videos. If I wanted, I could have capitalized on that and could have chosen to just sit here and talk about stumps all day. But I did not. Why? Because without further evidence, it is a topic that is only interesting once. I presented the topic, said what I wanted to say, and then moved on with my life. But that's not what people do. No. They make video after video. You have flat earth supporters debunking the globe. You have round earth supporters debunking flat earth. Entire shows dedicated to this. Hours of their lives dedicated to going after someone who doesn't share the same ideas about the shape of the earth. Debate after debate, name calling, mocking. This is on both sides all day long. Both sides are guilty of this, folks. Even I have been guilty of this, but I will no longer participate. No, you won't get me, because my God does not send messages wrapped in enmity, and quite frankly, I have bigger fish to fry. You know, God wants you to worship Him, not His creation, but people do. They worship the sun, they worship the moon, they worship the earth, they worship the elements, things that will not bring them salvation, but only ruin. I love people that are willing to question everything, but I will not support a movement that further divides us when it already takes a hurricane to bring us together. See, people tend to admire their own opinions and become fond of arguing. They insult, ridicule, and hurt each other's feelings. To what end? I'll admit, the topic was funny and interesting in the beginning, but now it has become very apparent that people are more interested in fighting than they are about the shape of the earth. And I am here to bring people together, not to separate them. So my message to you folks is this: do not fight someone over something that you do not know to be 100% true, because later you may find out that it wasn't true, and you went against that person for no reason. Anyway, folks, what we are experiencing in our world today is just a taste, an appetizer of things to come. Think about what's happening right now. Almost every nation is facing destruction. Mexico has faced destruction. Houston has faced destruction. Florida has faced destruction. Puerto Rico has faced destruction. Haiti has faced destruction. Japan has faced destruction. Iraq has faced destruction. Africa has faced destruction. New Orleans, France, New York, and on. All this devastation and more has all occurred within the past 17 years. I know some people think it's the government, and they do play their role, but I'm telling you, they are busy preparing. And these coffins and camps, those guide stones in Georgia, that stuff looks like they are getting ready for the sky to fall. Those deep underground bases are really only good for radiation protection. These machines they develop like HARP and CERN may very well be weapons against something much more powerful than man. They can create an artificial magnetosphere. They can steer particles. Do you know that if you have a powerful enough magnetic field around you, you can deflect radiation? That is what the magnetosphere does. You know what they say about Mars, right? There is a theory that suggested it was once a planet much like our own, and then most of the atmosphere was stripped away. Stripped away by what? Planet X? Cosmic waves? Understand, everyone, we need our atmosphere intact to burn up meteors and control the power of the sun. We need that to sustain life. You know, there is going to come a day where people actually run towards FEMA for shelter in desperation. They may see that meteor coming and they're going to say, well, if CERN can stop it, let's fire that puppy up. That's what people are going to do. Watch. This is prophesized. People are going to run to their government for help. And you'll know there's a problem when that incoming energy causes the sky to change colors, auroras. That is the result of incoming energy from the sun and other nearby neutron stars. Some people think it's Planet X, Nibiru, right? But don't think of it as just a planet or a brown dwarf star. What if we are talking about a storm of celestial bodies, a hurricane in space? So when you have all this, what I like to call space weather, how do you think that incoming weather would affect the natural resonant frequencies of the planet? How do you think it would affect the natural behavior of animals and people? The radiation, the heat. The earth is very agitated right now, and so everything that lives on it is also agitated. The seasons are off. Farmers can't get it together. They don't know what's going on. Look at the trees. Look at the timing and the changing of foliage. You know high temperatures affect insect reproduction? Wherever you live, see if you notice a change in their numbers. We have been seeing bees go through this. And by the way, bees are very sensitive to changes in frequencies coming from anywhere. Cell phone towers, Wi-Fi signals. I mean, bees use frequencies to fly, not their wings. Their wings create the vibration needed to levitate the bee. So if something alters the natural frequencies around the bee, which I believe would be like turbulence flying in an aircraft. Speaking of bees and frequencies, you know an old beekeeper's trick is to hold an image the shape of a hexagon in your mind. You know, the shape of a honeycomb. This thought sends out a vibration that bees can pick up on, causing them to remain calm. So if a change in frequency can do that, what can it do to us? This is one of the reasons I encourage cleansing, because your body is going to want to purge toxins when the atmospheric and electromagnetic conditions change. It's like when the seasons change. Some of you may develop a bit of a cough. Your body is trying to clear out the lungs because your body wants to adjust to those changes, and it needs to get the toxins out first. If you have major changes in the atmosphere and electromagnetic field, well, those are major changes, and your body will probably go through a deeper cleansing. And one of the first toxins to come out is anger. Oh, if things continue to go the way they are going, you're going to continue to see people flip out for no reason. You're going to see more and more people experiencing mental fog. They're just going to go stupid. They may lose the ability to communicate with others properly, causing mass confusion. Kind of like the Tower of Babel story. You see, there is a theory that people's memories are going to go first. Those neural connections are going to be broken. And this is going to cause a lot of problems. So right now you really need to be working on getting your health in order. Radiation is going to have a greater effect on someone who is sick versus someone who is healthy. Children are particularly vulnerable to this because their bodies are still growing. So get those toxins out before something else pulls them out of you. Now, with all this incoming radiation, with all this disruption in the earth and frequencies that are occurring now, how will this affect things going forward? These spirits around us, you don't have to believe in them, but you're going to hear about or you are going to witness an increase in paranormal activity worldwide. You're going to see an increase in people witnessing strange beings. These monsters, these strange creatures, these cryptids caught on tape. People can't wait to see what these things look like, but never see them. They only see a blur, a glimpse. This is the work of someone or something trying to seduce you, folks. Decades later, and people are still trying to prove the existence of extraterrestrials, only to the avail of entertainment. Be honest, folks. Thus far, the subject of ETs has only been that of entertainment, right? But what about the abductees? The eyewitnesses? Truly, all of them can't be crazy, right? Well, the day may come where you no longer see just a blur, and these things start revealing themselves in high definition. You know, there is a subject that is even more controversial than the shape of the earth, and that is the topic of religion. Once upon a time, it was culture-based. It was used as a moral compass to guide future generations. Today, it is not. People have the right to make a decision on what they believe. God does not need for you to believe in Him. That is something you need. You see, my belief in God is based on an understanding. See, I understand that in order for the universe to work the way it does, it makes sense that there would be a source processor or mind that has orchestrated all of this, because without that, if this was all an accident, it would have probably accidentally failed a long time ago. But it has not. The universe has stood the test of time. It has held itself together as if it has a purpose. And if it has a purpose, it is here on purpose. You know, I believe there is going to come a day where people have forgotten what this world used to be like. I'm talking about the one we are living in right now. We will one day become the lost world. But there may be hope. There may be those who are willing to throw on the red capes and be the superhumans throughout all our coming trials and tribulations. And I believe we will be guided by a higher force. And from this point on, as we continue to look into the wondrous things of our world, the crazy things, we can be more confident than scared, because we'll have an understanding rather than just a belief.